DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned in to the best of the best. If there's a show out there better than this one, name it. Exactly. This is the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is nowhere to be found. You putting out it, the success you expected to achieve, you got it on the side of a milk carton because you just can't find it. The mental toughness to keep doing the work despite the fact that it's not showing up. And on top of all that is one more thing we want to give you. It's called personal initiative. You know that feeling that you get when you're just tired of waiting for things to happen and you decide you're just going to make something happen? All of us have felt that at times. How would you like to feel that more often? How would you like to just make that part of your normal makeup to where you don't even have to think about the fact that you're doing it? You're just doing it. It's just who you are. You're not even doing it. It's just who you are as a person. So it comes naturally to you. Would you like that? Would you enjoy that? Would you get more out of your life if you had that? Well, good, because you're in the right place. We put all these things together. What you get is the mindset, the method, the podcast known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. I'm your host every day and all day. Oh yeah, there's a book called Work on Your Game too. If you don't have it, go on Amazon as you listen to me and order it. Amazon Prime 2-day shipping. Today's topic is how to become a champion. How to become a champion. Now we know the basics, how to become a champion, right? You got to enter a competition and you got to beat somebody. That's how you become a champion. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. We're talking the mental side of becoming a champion. Now, once you become a champion in your mind mentally, you will automatically do the things that are required to become a champion physically, and then you'll have the championship, whether that's a trophy, a medal, a plaque. You got your name on a website, they got your poster up on the wall, whatever it is you get for becoming a champion. First of all, you got to become a champion in your mind. You don't become a champion in the flesh before you become a champion in the mind. That doesn't happen. That's impossible. Okay? We play games in life, and this podcast is called Work on Your Game. We play games so we can get the trophy, the medal, the number one spot, the money, the accolades, and recognition that come with victory, right? And I'm not talking sports here. I'm talking anything that you do. We play a game so we can get the trophy, so we can get the win. The win for you might be, I want to live a comfortable life, and I want this type of house, and I want this type of family, and I want this many cars. That's the win for you. Some people's win is I want to be the best in the world. Some people's win is I just want to defeat the demons in my mind. Some people's win is, these people have always doubted me and not thought that I could be successful. I want to make sure I'm successful and rub it in their face so that they all know about it. We all have a different game that we're playing, but we're all playing the game. And that's why you listen to this podcast called Work on Your Game. And we play to get whatever our win is. Your win could be a trophy, a medal, a number one spot, money, accolades, a feeling, an energy. Whatever it is for you, we all are playing for something. So it only makes sense that we discuss how to become that champion, right? Now, of course, there are some things physically that you need to do, some techniques, some strategies that you need to follow. Now, those are covered in the game group. If you don't know about the game group, we'll talk about that later. What we're talking about here in this episode is about the mental side of becoming a champion. And let's get right into it. Point number one, today's topic again is how to become a champion. It starts in the mind before you do it in the flesh. Challenge and beat formidable opposition. It's the number one thing you gotta do to become a champion is you gotta beat somebody who's also worthy of being a champion. So you can't become a champion beating up on bums. You can't become a champion if you're not challenging yourself to do anything which is easily done. Easy is defined as something that you can do. Easy is something that most people can do. Now, if you want to be a champion, you got to do something that most people can't do, most people won't do, most people will never even try, most people will never even think about, let alone try it. They wouldn't even think about doing it, and then you go do it and achieve it. That's how you become a champion. You got to beat a formidable foe. To be great, it is not just that you won, it's who you beat. Once I was playing in a basketball tournament. I was probably about 15 or 16 years old. We were playing maybe a spring tournament, like a spring break. When I was growing up, we would have a whole week of spring break. But my mother tells me that in Philadelphia, they only get like 2 days of spring break now. They get like a 4-day weekend. But back in the day, back in the 90s, we get the whole week. But anyway, we were playing this spring break tournament at my local recreation center gym. And I was like a big man on this particular team. So we didn't have a whole lot of size. I was one of the taller guys. So I was like the center. And my thing on defense, I like to block people's shots. So it was this fat kid who I was guarding during the game. And one of the coaches, he wasn't the coach of our team, but he was the coach in the neighborhood. He was sitting along the baseline and we were on defense. So he was like right behind us so I could hear what he was saying. So this fat kid was trying to post me up on offense. And I had already blocked this kid's shot before, so I didn't even care if he caught the ball. I was actually hoping they passed him the ball in the post, so he's calling for the ball in the post. I'm hoping they give him the ball because whatever he tries to do, I'm going to block his shot. So I'm just like, yeah, let him get the ball so I can block his shit again. And the coach on the baseline is yelling to me, Dre, get in front of him. Don't let him catch the ball. Get in front of him. Get in front of him. And I turn, and this is why the game's going on. I say to the coach, like, yo, this dude cannot shoot over me. If he tries to shoot over me, I'm just going to block his shot. Like, it's all good, coach. And the coach didn't say anything else. I mean, he wasn't going to argue with me in the middle of the game. He wasn't even our coach. But after the game, he came up to me and said, Dre, what I was trying to tell you was get in front of the guy. And I said, yeah, I understood what you were saying. But look, did you see me block his shot? Did you know what I was going to do if he got the ball again? And the coach said, yeah, you can block that guy's shot. But Dre, could you do that against somebody who can actually play? And I didn't have an answer to his question. And the point, and then this goes right along with the point that I'm making here, point number one, is that you got to beat somebody who's good to be a champion. All right, the only people you beat are people who are easily beatable, people who are not really any competition, or even a situation that's easily beatable, a situation that's not any real competition, a situation that anyone could have overcome. If that's all you did, then you're not really a champion. To be great is not just that you win, it's who you beat. What you defeated to get to where you're at. And it could be a person, again, it could be a situation, it could be an energy, it could be a thought, it could be some circumstance that you deal with, some unforeseen situation. But there you had to beat something that's worthy of calling yourself a champion. All right, which means you got to challenge and outdo a situation or a person or a thing or a circumstance that is better than you or ranked ahead of you, or it seems like you won't ever be able to defeat it. That's how you become a champion. You got to attack the challenges that most people are afraid to step up to. You can't be a champion boxer by beating up on amateurs or beating up people who don't want to fight. All right, you got to beat up somebody who wants to beat up other people. That's how you become a champion in a boxing ring, right? And basketball, you become a champion. You got to be somebody who's beating everybody else. You don't become the champ by only getting easy victories. You can build up your confidence getting easy victories. All right, that's worth something. You can build up your skills and get yourself some experience going against the mediocre and the low level and the bums. That's all good. But at some point, you got to step up and take on a real challenge. At some point, you got to step up and do something that most people have been unable to do or are unwilling to try. That's the first step to being a champion. You got to aim a little bit bigger. You got to take a little bit of a bigger bite. You got to step up to a bigger challenge than maybe what you're used to. What you're used to going up against to this point hasn't made you a champion. That means you need a bigger challenge. It means you need a bigger opponent to go against. Point number two. Today's topic is how to become a champion. You got to grab victory from the jaws of defeat. Now, how cliche is that one? But there's a reason why I'm giving this point here, grabbing victory from the jaws of defeat. Damon Dash, who was a music mogul. Some of you who follow hip hop, you know who Damon Dash is. If you don't know who Damon is, he was Jay-Z's business partner when he started a company called Rockefeller Records back in the mid-90s, when Jay-Z was so unwanted in the hip hop industry that nobody wanted to sign Jay-Z to a record contract. Damon Dash was the marketing guy who said, you know what, Jay-Z is so good and these guys are so blind, not noticing how great Jay-Z is. You know what, how about we start our own company, Jay-Z? Me, you, and one of our other guys, we're going to start a company together because I believe in you that much. Dame Dash was the guy. If y'all don't notice, Dame Dash was the guy who believed in Jay-Z, maybe more than Jay-Z believed in Jay-Z. And if you follow hip-hop, you know this already, but if you don't, this is giving you a little bit of background on who this man is. You can look him up. He's on all the socials and YouTube and all of that. But you can also listen to episode number 488 of this podcast at dreallday.com/488, where I actually profiled Damon Dash in a way, profiled him from my perspective as one of my virtual mentors. It's episode number 488. And one thing I heard Damon Dash say in one of his many online videos, he said, I believe it was an interview he was in, he said, you are not a champion in life until you are in a situation where it looks like you're going to lose and you win. I want to say that one again because this is like the best thing I've ever heard Damon Dash say. It's one of the best things I heard anybody say when it comes to competition and winning and success. Any of you who's feeling down right now, you're feeling like you're being challenged and you're losing, you feel like you're getting beat up, you feel like you're in the corner and the bell has rung for you to go out for the next round and you're not sure you're going to stand up off of that stool this is the phrase right here. You need to write this down. You need to quote it. You need to download this episode and cut out the audio so you can hear me saying it. Whatever you need to do, you get this and remember it. Damon Dash said, "You are not a champion in life until you're in a situation where it looks very obvious that you're going to lose, but you win." In other words, ladies and gentlemen, the easy victories, as we talked about in point number 1, they have their time and their place. But you cannot and you will not ever become a champion by only eating off the easy victories. At some point, you got to be in a situation where it looks like the average person, a reasonable person, will look at it and say, okay, there's no way that one's going to work. There's no way this one's going to turn out the way that you want it to. There's no way that you're going to win this game. There's no way that you're going to become a success coming from where you're coming from or dealing with the situation that you're in. There's no way you're going to be able to turn things around from how dire the circumstances are right now. Any reasonable, logical person, practical person would look at the situation, and that's what they would think. You don't become a champion until you look at a situation like that and you turn it into a success. That's grabbing victory from the jaws of defeat, where it looks like there's no way it's going to work, but you make it work. That's what makes you a champion. That's what gets you the gold medal. That's what gets you the rewards, the trophy, the number 1 spot, the money, the accolades, everything that you want, that you've been going after, that for whatever reason has evaded you to this point. You got to learn to turn defeat into victory, or not even learn to. You just got to do it. All right, whether you learn to or not, you must achieve this in order to be a champion in life. You can't become a champion by only getting easy victories. If you are never challenged, then you can't be a champion. If you never challenge yourself, you don't have to be challenged by something from the outside. When are you going to put yourself in a position where it's such a challenge that it looks like it doesn't even make sense for you to take this on, but you do it anyway and you make it happen? That's how you become a champion. Point number 3, today's topic is how to become a champion in life. What's the definition of champion? Definition is a person who has defeated or surpassed all rivals. Defeated or surpassed all rivals. Not just anybody in the place, but rivals. That means people who really think they can beat you or really want to beat you or are going to try hard and put all their resources into beating you, but you defeated them anyway. All right, understand that those are not easy victories. Rivals ain't going to be easy victories. Nobody becomes your rival if you just beat them so easily over and over and over again. It's not a rival to you. Maybe to them it is, but it's not to you. Defeating your rivals means beating people who are formidable enough that they could beat you, but you beat them. But let me give a different definition of champion. All right, this is the key definition right here. Definition of champion I'm going to give you is a person who fights or argues for a cause on behalf of someone else. This is also out of dictionary. It just got different definitions. I mean, y'all seen the dictionary before, right? A person who fights and argues for a cause on or behalf of someone else. Understand that your work and your results to be a champion must extend further than just you. What you achieve, what you do, the circumstances you defeat, the situations that you make something out of nothing out of, they got to extend. It can't just be something that happened for you. It should happen for other people. That's how you're a champion, because to be a champion, you got to be recognized, right? There's going to be some recognition that comes with that champion. Phil Knight, in his book called Shoe Dog, those of you who don't know who Phil Knight is, he's the founder of a company called Nike. And Phil Knight told this story. Phil Knight was actually a runner himself. He ran in high school. He was a college runner. And he was a fan of this runner out in Oregon, where Phil's from. This guy went by the name of Steve Prefontaine. He was one of the first, he actually may have been the first famous runner in the United States. Because there was a time, I don't know if any of you is old enough to remember. I'm not even old enough to remember, but I know it because I read the book. There was a time when just jogging or running for exercise was like you were a complete weirdo if you were outside jogging. People thought that was crazy. There are people who've been pulled over by the cops for being outside jogging because it wasn't a normal thing. Now it's a normal everyday thing. But this guy, Steve Prefontaine, Phil Knight told this story. He had went to a local track meet. There was an event going on. And this was after Phil was done being a competitive runner. He had started his company by this point. But Steve Prefontaine, who was this famous runner that everyone in the state of Oregon loved, he was running. But he was running against some guys whose whole mission was to defeat Prefontaine. All right, he was so well known, everybody was gunning for him. So that's how you knew he was a champion, because everybody's trying to beat him. And what Phil Knight said at this particular meet, it was in Oregon, Prefontaine's home base, but the runners that he was running against, several of them were all gunning to defeat him. Their whole purpose of coming to the meet was to defeat Prefontaine. So the race happens. I forget how far they were racing. Maybe it was a mile or 2 miles. I don't remember what the distance was. But anyway, the story is these guys are running, and I mean, maybe one or two of the rival runners are actually in the lead, and it looks like they're going to beat Steve Prefontaine. And then the last stretch of the race, Prefontaine starts. It's like a Disney movie, right? Prefontaine starts running harder and faster. He pulls everything that he has out of him. He has the crowd pulling for him. The whole hometown crowd is pulling for him. Phil Knight's cheering for him. Everybody's cheering for Prefontaine. He comes from behind. He snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. He wins the race. He grabs a t-shirt from someone in the crowd. He's waving it over his head. The whole crowd is going crazy. And Phil Knight tells the story. As he's telling the story, he says, "This is my inspiration. This is what I want my company to be. Because my company is more than we just make running shoes." Because that's how they started out, was running shoes. They later on became all the other sports. Our company is more than just equipment for people to go out and run. I want our company to be an inspiration. The way that Steve Prefontaine inspired everybody in the audience that day when he won that race. I want people to put on a pair of Nike shoes and be inspired in that way. And Phil Knight told the story that the next day after this race, his hamstrings and his calf muscles were sore as if he was the one who had been running in the race. Any of you ever felt that? You watch somebody else do something and you feel like you were the one who was performing. You feel like you were the one who was playing in the game. Phil Knight said, I want people to get that kind of inspiration when they look at Nike or they look at one of our athletes. I want athletes who make other people feel that way. That's what I mean when I give this second definition of champion, is a person who fights or argues for a cause on or behalf of someone else. What you do, in other words, needs to resonate with more people than just one. It needs to resonate with someone other than just yourself. Your work and results must extend further than you. A leader is a person, ladies and gentlemen, who inspires others to do and be more. To be a champion, you gotta lead. To be a champion, you got to inspire other people through what you do, through what you say, through how you present yourself, through the fact that you took a situation that looked like a loss and turned it into a victory. For you to be a champion, you must do that. And it has inspired other people to do more and be more because they saw you do it. They heard about you doing it. They followed you doing it from day one all the way through day 3,000. They followed you doing that exact thing. That's how you become a champion. What you do needs to touch other people in some way that they're inspired. That after they see you do that thing, after they hear you do that thing, after they remember your story, after they think of you, after they see you, after they meet you, after they shake your hand, they're like, you know what, I'm inspired. I'm going to go further. I'm going to go harder. I'm going to do more than what I've been doing. I'm going to step my game up just because I saw this person stepping their game up. And that tells me that it's possible. To be a champion, again, other people got to be touched by your work, not just you. Let's recap today's topic, which is how to become a champion. Now, we all play games in our lives, whether an athletic game, a business game, or any other game. We play games so we can get the trophy, the medal, the number one spot, the money, the accolades, the recognition that comes with victory. So it only makes sense that we discuss how to become a champion. And I'm not talking about physically what you need to do technically. We're talking about how you approach it mentally. Point number one. You got to challenge and beat formidable opposition. To be great is not just that you win, it's who you defeat to win, which means that you got to challenge and outdo those or whatever situations are ranked ahead of you or better than you or seemingly insurmountable. You attack those challenges that most people are afraid to step to or never consider stepping to, and you beat them. That's how you become a champion. Point number two. You got to grab victory from the jaws of defeat. As Damon Dash said, and I talked about Damon in episode 488, Virtual Mentors, episode number 4. You are not a champion until you are in a situation where it looks like you are surely going to face defeat and you end up victorious. In other words, easy victories, they have their time, they have their place, but you cannot become a champion by only eating off the easy ones. You got to step to something that looks like it can't be beat and you beat it. That's how you're a champion. And point number 3. Definition of a champion is a person who's defeated or surpassed all rivals, meaning you got to beat people who could actually possibly beat you. And the second definition is a person who fights or argues for a cause on behalf of someone else. Like Phil Knight said in the story of watching Steve Prefontaine run, his hamstrings were sore the next day and he wasn't even participating in the race because Steve Prefontaine's performance had inspired and moved him so much as a spectator that he felt like he was a part of it. As a leader, you are a person who inspires others to do and be more. To be a champion, you must lead. You must inspire other people to do more and be more through your performance, through your presentation, through your energy, through what you do and what you represent, so that when people come across you or they hear your name or they see what you do or they shook your hand or they followed you on social media or they got you to reply to one of their emails or DMs, they are inspired to step their own game up just because of what you represent. If you are not doing that, it's impossible for you to be a champion. Now let's talk about what's going on in the game group. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to step their game up to the next level. In the game group, there are two specific things that you need to remember. It is strategies. So like we talked about here today, strategies of becoming that champion, of getting yourself to the next level of wherever you're going. We can focus on 4 areas in the game group: business development, personal development, basketball skill, and professional basketball. Any of those areas is a focus for you right now. The game group is the place that you want to be. On the game group page at dreallday.com/membership, you can see all the information about what you get, what we offer, what we don't do, who it's for, who it's not for. If you're looking to step your game up to the next level, you want to become that champion at what you do, whether that's a champion in your own life, a champion in your sport, a champion in your industry. Strategy is number 1 and the results number 2. We are not just giving you a bunch of information. It's not just a ton of content. These are strategies that are going to produce particular specific results. That's what we're doing over in the game group. Again, that's dreallday.com/membership. If you like what goes on this podcast on a daily basis and you want to take it to another level, you want to learn to apply it, you want to make sure that what you're doing it the right way, and that is actually turning into results for you and not just a daily inspiration or motivation or hype up, whatever you want to call it, then dreallday.com/membership for the game group. Work on your game. Dre all